I'm John Wilson. I'm the climbing wall manager, so I manage all of the climbing wall, making sure that it's all safety checks are done and all fully staffed, and anything else to do with the climbing wall, really. The management of the walls is sort of at several different levels. On the sort of the day-to-day, it's making sure it's developed, it's made safe, or all the safety checks are done, and all that sort of bits and pieces on it. But we also then trying to make sure that we change the routes. All of the routes we try and get changed on a regular basis. And I do a little bit of that myself, but actually most of my job these days is managing other people and trying to coordinate other people to come in and do that. It's an ongoing process, really, trying to develop it and maintain it. I started rock climbing when I was at college, so in fact I rock climbed so much with the club at college that I failed my college course, so I decided this was probably the way to go instead. So that's where I was. I'd done quite a lot of walking and bits and pieces when I was at school, which had got me interested in the outdoors generally. And in fact, when I left school, I went on a British Schools Exploring Society expedition to Alaska when I was leaving at the end of my sixth form. So I probably spent a bit more time in my sixth form on that preparing for that than I was preparing for my A-level. So as a result, I got an A-level, so only one of the A-levels I was expecting. So I went to college to do an HND course, or it was an HND course at that stage, in applied biology, which when I got to college really was actually teaching you how to become a lab technician. As I say, the outdoors has always inspired me, and the climbing particularly so at that stage. So I got into the outdoors. So after I left college, I looked for ways I could develop that, and actually went on a 12-month training course run by an organisation in North Wales, which did a 12-month instructor training course at that stage. As any other climber, I've made a list of climbs that I want to do, and one of the main climbs that I wanted to do was a climb called Dream of White Horses, which was on the Sea Cliffs in Gogarth in North Wales, and I set myself the target of doing it before my 40th birthday. And I went 2 years before my 40th birthday with a friend to do it, and it was a horrible day, and it's a very exposed, to get to the start of the climb you have to abseil in down this very exposed cliff, and we just actually turned around that day and went back. But fortunately we went back the following year just before my birthday and actually completed this climb before my birthday. It's a fabulous climb on a really wonderful piece of rock. You're several hundred feet above the sea, roaring below you, with looking out over the Irish Sea, and it's really quite a challenging, inspiring place, really. Turning points in my life, I think probably the expedition that I did with the British Schools Exploring Society when I left school. That was a real development opportunity for myself, and in that, so that was real, guided me, and really, and I suppose that was really first thing which thought, well, perhaps that's where I want to go, and certainly thoroughly inspired me in terms of going outdoors and doing things outside. I suppose when I set myself up as a freelance instructor was a real challenge in terms of a job opportunity, and that lasted for several years, and that was a really interesting part of my life, developing that as my own little business, and moving on from that. I don't know whether I have a specific dream. In some ways I would like to sort of move the climbing wall on. I'd perhaps like to open my own climbing wall one day. I think is a thing that I'd quite like to aspire to is to have my own climbing wall and manage my own facility one day. But we'll see whether that happens or not.